how I'm fit to make the bottom fall to the floor, and they all fall down. Yeah. It goes, it goes, it goes, it goes, it goes, it goes. Yeah. Down. Yeah. Out of the shadows, barrage of witch tongue, cobra spit over apocalyptic cult, killer cauldron, smoke, stop music, seriously. Yeah. It goes, it goes, it goes, it goes, it goes, it goes. Can't stop the groove, look stars, clear off them locks, relentless raw movement for the knock me to that G-spot body rock connected to everything you want, ever did want. We got it, one knock, come get us together in that hole and watch me drop this cold guillotine sentence. Yeah. It goes, 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 guillotine. Hidden all between and beneath every fragmented figure of speech, tongue in reverse whenever the beat causes my jaws to call. Ow! 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 Yeah. The screen flashing red, can't see shit ahead, spinning axles like planets, out of orbit off the edge of my actions, whipping towards the formal and all that's ever been said. Yeah. Tie the cord, kick the gym and you're dead. Yeah. Yeah. It goes, 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 guillotine! Guillotine! Head of a trick in a bucket, body of a trick in a bag, and thrown in the fire like fuck it. Gotta burn it before it goes bad. But too many times been disgusted by the stench of rotting such a
Chat! Chat! What is happening?
Choke on these nuts to the very last.
Why is everything broken? Why is my mic broken? Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know what the fuck to do with my mic. My mic has just been awful. Just pure fucking garbage for forever. I'm giving up hope, chat. I'm gonna have to kill myself. I'm gonna have to kill myself because I can't get my mic to work. Here... Discord and YouTube ingest for live streaming broke at the exact same fucking time. What are the odds of that? What are the odds of two major infrastructure centers powering entertainment-based internet just collapses at the same time as this coronavirus? It's a total mystery how this could happen. Oh, jeez. You know, today, my very clever and witty title for YouTube, which I'll no longer get to use, for this stream was going to be Low Information Voter Monday, because today, even though I don't think it's on Wikipedia yet, I can pull it up and check. I think. No, they haven't added it yet. No, they haven't, because the Dow Jones closed at 12.99 today for percentage dip, which is worse than Black Thursday in 1929. So the stock market just tumbled the hardest it's ever tumbled, ever, in the history of our country. This is the second, the second biggest percentile dip. The one in 1987? I don't even know about that one. They don't teach you about that one for some reason. Black Monday. Well, this one will be Low Information Voter Monday. No, I guess everyone already knows that. Everyone's already doom and gloom about the stock market already. I don't need to tell you. People on Biz are not very happy, but that's to be expected. I mean, the things. What's weird about the stock market, and I bitched about this last time, but someone got very angry at me and tried correcting me in the comments, is that things go down that you don't expect to go down. You expect companies that make sanitation products, and you expect hand sanitizer companies and shit to all go up during a crisis like this. You expect Grubhub and shit to all go up, but it's really strange how emotional it is and how things just dip because everyone pulls all their money out all together, and then that money's just not there and it goes down. You got out of the market after 9/11. Well, you know, after 9/11, here's a fun thing. After 9/11, the stock market closed for like a week or so. Like, they actually just shut it down and no trading was done. And there's a lot of speculation that because of how it's just fucking panic selling right now, that all trading might be paused in the stock market. I'm probably going to sell everything I have at the end of this week because I don't want that money to be permanently tied up in the stock market. And I think that it's so bad right now, and we keep getting, like, if you look at this list, even though we've not added today, there are several entries from March 2020 that are, significant 7+ dips into the market. It just keeps going down because people are selling, and I think that Trump is going to want to just stop it because it makes him look bad. Like, it makes him look bad. And the fucking idiot on Friday was all caps tweeting the biggest point gain in American history, because it did recover. It recovered like 10%, but it was still down overall from the start of the coronavirus. So I think he's going to be upset that this is a bigger dip than it was a gain yesterday already, and he'll close it. He'll order it closed very soon. And all my travel plans are fucked up. Can't go back to the U.S. unless I want to get quarantined. Can't go back to Europe at all, perhaps, because I think that in Brussels they're thinking about shutting down the entire Schengen. So it's no longer just Italy or Spain now. It's all of Europe is shutting down, unless it's like an essential travel. But I don't know if what I'm doing is considered essential travel, so I probably won't get allowed in. It's fucking nonsense. It's like, I don't know. It's all fun and games when the boomers are dying, but when it inconveniences me, that's really where you draw the line. You say, you know what, this is fucking bullshit. I am an internet person. I am a rootless vagabond. I am a gem. I don't associate with any country or any people, so what happens to them completely is detached from my own existence, so I don't care. But then I can't go where I want to, or do what I want to, or eat what I want to, and my stocks don't perform as well as I'd hope. And that's really the pits, the real bullshit, the real victim of the situation. I keep thinking that's Discord in the chat, but it's not. It's Twitch. Discord's still down. Rest in peace, dongs. No, you can't open an international bank account as an American. Especially, like, people think, oh, I'll just hide my money in a Swiss bank account. The Swiss do not do business with the Americans, because the way that it works, that the U.S. law says, if you do banking with an American, you have to report on all, I think not even just all Americans, you have to report the finances of everyone that you hold accounts for as in your bank. And this is a provision of the Patriot Act, which is really fantastic. It's the best act we've ever passed. It has made us a global supervillain in the banking industry. It's made us a villain. It's made us one of the least private-oriented countries in the entire world, barring like fucking Russia or Saudi Arabia. It's really just a complete disaster. So a lot of banks, like in Swiss banks, they refuse to do business with any Americans because to do so would subjugate them to liabilities in the U.S. that are absolutely fucking ridiculous. Let's see. Yeah, USA. Speaking of, and I hate to really keep going on a doom and gloom rant about the United States, because I know a lot of people are patriotic still, and they think I'm an asshole for just giving up and leaving. But I've already contacted my senator, who is Marco Rubio, about this, and I've contacted my House of Representatives about this, which would be Matt Gaetz, oddly enough, who's a pretty internet famous congressperson at this point. But I've talked to a lot about the... let me fix this so you guys can actually see it. I've talked a lot about Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. It's one of the most important parts of internet law. It is, the Communications Decency Act was meant to be a kind of a way to rein in internet speech, but it was modified, and one of the provisions that was modified and kind of stripped clean and left as it was Section 230, which basically says if you run a forum, for instance, and someone says something illegal on your forum, you are not personally liable for that. And that applies to civil torts as well. You're held harmless for basically anything that anyone else does on your website. And it is the foundation of all the internet. It's why YouTube can exist. It's why Facebook can exist. It's why Twitch can exist. It's why DLive can exist. It's why MySpace and 4chan and 8chan and the Kiwi Farms and all these other websites can exist on the internet. Is because if you host your website and someone does something illegal on it, you are not liable for that action if it is illegal or tortuous to another person. So they're changing that. They've wanted to change that for a while. It's a really inconvenient bill because it basically lets people do what they want on the internet, and that's not cool to the government. The government says, fuck you, you can't do that. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to change 230 from being something that everyone just has. If you make a website, you're automatically protected by this no matter what, into something that, as he says, and this is by the EFF, if for some reason you just have a ton of money laying around right now and you're just like, God, I'm just doing so well financially, I really want to give this away to a good cause. The EFF is a 501c3 charity, and they're the only charity, the only foundation I can think of that actually has balls and watches this kind of shit, honestly. Where is it at? Okay, so just so you know, the cunts responsible for this bullshit are Lindsey Graham, Richard Blumenthal, and there are two more. But Lindsey Graham and Blumenthal, the two main sponsors. They want to change 230 from being, again, a coverage that everyone receives. You make a website, doesn't matter how new it is, doesn't matter if it's an organized company or not. You make a website and you are protected by 230. You're not held liable by things other people do. And they want to change that to a committee. A 19-person committee that has no requirements regarding the background of the people who sit on it. So it could be 19 people, foreign nationals, maybe from some Middle Eastern country, who have zero interest in American freedom of speech, in American political discussion, and whatever. And they just say, if you don't do X, Y, Z, you don't get protected. If you are, maybe for instance, if you get listed by some kind of hate speech website, if you get put on a right-wing watch, hate crime website, then theoretically this committee, this 19-person committee, could say, you don't meet best practices, so you don't get to be protected by this. So if someone says something illegal on your website, you then get to be sued for it. And if you're not a multi-billion-dollar corporation, you can't afford to get sued for everything that someone says on your website, right? So bad news. And if the thing that all these organizations are concerned about is the end-to-end encryption, which is like nobody in the intermediary can spy on what you're doing. WhatsApp, for instance, even though it's owned by Facebook, supposedly has end-to-end encryption, which means that Facebook can't read what you send on WhatsApp. Your phone company can't, your ISP can't. If you're on a public network, supposedly they can't also spy on your communications, and the government can't. Theoretically, they can't spy on what you send on WhatsApp. So the 19 people, the 19 very specifically selected chosen people of this committee, or the 19 chosen, will look at you and say, okay, well, this end-to-end encryption could theoretically allow the safe transfer of child pornography. So in order to save the children and to stop child sex trafficking, so everything we do is kosher because it helps kids, we can't have this encryption ever, and we need to make sure that WhatsApp can be snooped by the government to protect children. And that's what the 19 chosen will say, and you'll lose the ability to have privacy when you're on WhatsApp. That's what they'll do every fucking time, and you won't have any say against it. You could theoretically sue, but the law would be written in such a way that you had nothing to sue for. You could argue that it's a First Amendment violation, or an unwarranted, or a wiretapping violation, a violation of your Fourth Amendment is your privacy right? Whatever. And they'll just go no, because the courts have been throwing out any kind of protest against warrantless surveillance since the Patriot Act. Since the Patriot Act, they've just thrown it out every fucking time. There's nothing you can do about it. So it is needless to say, a terrible fucking law. And anytime you get, it's not just terrible because of the direct implications to you guys. It's a terrible law when you think about it in the concept of, in the broader picture of the whole country and our economy. The reason why every startup company, every big company in the world chooses America first and foremost as a place to host its website is because of, is specifically because of Section 230. They have less to worry about here than they do anywhere else in the world in terms of legislation and things coming to bite them in the ass because they're so well insulated by Section 230. If you change that, you're going to make it so that either the legislation, the best practices by the 19 chosen, are going to be so prohibitive that it's not a good idea to host in the U.S. anymore, or the requirements, let's say that they all were great ideas. For some reason, they were just also all fantastic sound ways to stop child sex trafficking, as they said. The chances are their requirements for best practices to be protected by 230 would be so, would raise the bar so high that no small website not backed by angel investing or a large company could meet those best practices. It would be like the banking industry. Good luck starting your own bank. You need at least $2 million to get licensed in every state in the U.S. to do transfers and stuff. It's extremely prohibitively expensive. You can't just say, "Hi, my name is Joe. I'm really good at money. If you guys give me your money, I'll invest it for you." To do banking, you have to have a significant amount of initial capital just to meet the licensure requirements. So the idea of making a licensing requirement for the internet and hosting the website in the United States is a fucking horrible idea. It is one of the worst ideas you could ever pitch, and that's basically the premise of this fucking bill, is that we're going to set a bar and you're going to meet it, or anytime some dipshit posts child pornography on your website, you're going to be considered a child pornographer. So fucking wow. If there's any person in the world who really deserves coronavirus, it would be Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and then Lindsey Graham, because fuck them. We can only pray that our government will just get completely decimated by this virus. How long have I been alive? Just a little bit. I've been ranting about this, but it's self-evident how bad it is. If you're at all concerned, I would recommend going to the EFF website and pulling up this article. It's featured on the front page of the Kiwi Farms as well, so you just click the link and you can read this at your own time. I'm not joking. You're sitting at home right now. You're literally sitting at home watching me talk about absolutely nothing on a Monday. I promise you have time to call your senator and say, "Hey, motherfucker, this Earn It Act is fucking bullshit. Stop this. Are you a retard? If you vote for this shit, I hope you burn in hell, cocksucker." Click. That's the gist of what should be said. And you have the time. You have a fucking phone. There's no excuse. It's bullshit. Let me get a sip of water. Dick wanted me to know that I'm only streaming on DLive. I can't stream on YouTube right now. I posted this on Twitter. Hopefully people saw. I literally can't. The ingest is just not working. I'll post it again just in case people didn't see it. Very frustrating. Okay. Where was I? Oh, Yaniv, our Canadian superhero, the most famous Canadian to ever live, has pled guilty for possession of an illegal weapon. If you're wondering, what dangerous weapon was Yaniv hiding? Did he have maybe a Desert Eagle, an Israeli Desert Eagle that he's whipping out on people? A highly illegal assault rifle, full auto, 50 caliber, capable of tearing apart an entire elementary school in one magazine? No. It's far worse than that. He has weaponized electricity. He has turned the humble light bulb into a weapon of mass destruction. The so-called taser is highly regulated in Canada. And when he pulled this out on a live stream with Blair White, he got pinned to the ground. The Mounties got their SWAT gear out. They got their shields out. They got their rubber gloves on because, it's electricity. You don't know you can't conduct electricity. You need the gloves on. Stormed their apartment and thankfully apprehended Yaniv and took away the taser. Guilt as clear as day. His whole room was illuminated when he turned on this electrical discharge machine. And he has pled guilty to this weapons possession charge. He has not been sentenced yet, so it's not like a snake thing where he pled guilty and then got sentenced the same day. They're having him go to a court-mandated psychologist for a psychological evaluation pending his sentence. So I guess they're trying to see if he's like a retard before they charge him. I guess they're going to charge him and then think, God, we can't send this guy to jail because he'll have to go to a women's prison. And then when he's in women's prison, he'll just either rape people or he'll start stealing everyone's tampons and sucking on them, I guess. So truly, truly horrific. I guarantee you he'll just get like a fine or probation, home arrest or something. And he'll be A-okay because it is Canada after all. The most interesting things about this from the tweets that are right here is that the person live tweeting the courtroom saying that Yaniv apparently saw these tweets and complained that someone named Carl Simpson was live tweeting. And I think that's the guy that he has a restraining order against from that rebel media. I'm not 100%, but he complained to the judge about it and nothing happened. And then where is this? Oh, overheard. This is before the trial. Overheard Crown prosecutor on the phone. I don't care. You're in Langley. This is your court date. Get in here. And from what I understand is that he tried to bail on his court date by saying that he was getting a surgery in the next month. Oh no, probably the coronavirus. Probably said, oh, the coronavirus is out there. I don't want to go to court. And then afterwards mentioned something about a sex change, or not a sex change, but a surgery in the upcoming months that he had to be accommodated for in the court's timeline. So I don't know, maybe he's getting his dick cut off after all. But here's a fun fact, completely unrelated to transgender genital surgery. Sex offenders who are chemically castrated still reoffend. Just a random thought, has nothing to do with sex change operation and genital surgery. But pedophiles who are chemically castrated have been proven to rescind and commit again. I think by like a large, like half of them do or something. Or no, it's like 10%, but that's like the same recidivism rate for pedophilia in general. If you get caught once, you get caught again most of the, like 10% of the time. So there's no effect on one's ability to perpetrate sex crimes. Just ask a lot of people. Wu flu, peasant, COVID, coronavirus. I don't know. I would make an effort to. Actually, here's a funny thing. China has finally pissed me off. I'm usually as pro-China as it gets. My 5 cents come in by the bucket load. But the whole trying to make it like it was an American virus, or they called it like the Italian virus or the Japanese virus, depending on who it is. I've heard a lot of stories about that. They're trying to make it sound like an American thing. But fuck that. It's obvious. Fuck that. I don't care if you eat bats, but when you get bat flu soup, you gotta, or bat soup flu, you gotta fucking cop up to it, man. If you cause a global pandemic because you have a very avant-garde dietary thing going on, you just kind of like, yeah, man, we're so far up on the food chain that we'll eat literally whatever the fuck we want. We'll eat sharks. We won't even eat all the shark. We'll just eat the fin, throw it back in, and it'll die on its own. We're fucking monsters. We'll eat dogs. We have no empathy. We don't even have empathy for other Chinamen. You expect us to have empathy for your fucking mongrels or your fucking dogs? No. We're at the top of the food chain, motherfucker. We're above the rest of human beings. We'll eat you. If it came down to it, we would start farming white people. We'll start farming white people and dogs and crossbreeding them and then just eat those. We don't give a shit. But if some horrific disease were to come out of this practice, you just gotta be like, yeah, man, what are you gonna do about it? You're gonna cry about it on Twitter? You're gonna send activists to protest our food supply? Good fucking luck. We'll just kill you. We're China, motherfucker. We don't care. Oh, I triggered. Did I get mods yelling at me? I'm not reading chat. I'm just staring forward, dead-eyed at my monitor. Let's see. Someone said I triggered the lemon tribunal. Is this true? I did say Chinaman. Did you lie? Well, Discord's down. I can't even ask my Discord. Did I piss off the moderators? Because Discord's dead. Okay, I'm gonna assume that was someone lying to me. And if I get banned, I'll figure that out, I guess. I need to change my thing. I've got like a misleading thing going on. I am actually, for once, not playing Life is Strange. Where the fuck is my stream elements? Activity feed? Is this it? No. Oh fuck. China bad. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I don't fucking know. I just want to change my the game that I'm playing. I should be able to do this easily. Oh jeez. Oh fuck. Whatever. I guess I am playing. I guess I am playing Life is Strange. Someone's freaking out at me. It's like, I have a phone. If the internet goes down, I have a phone. Okay. Here's what I want to talk about. I talked about Yanev. I talked about the internet. I talked about, I guess that's it. I guess I talked about those things. Those are the things that matter. Here, how about this? Now, have you guys heard about what happened to Ralph? Because I find it interesting. I find it very disappointing. I don't know why I'm disappointed, but I am. It really does. It bothers me because it's like, I guess he was doing good for a while, wasn't he? Oh my god, yes. It's not true. Okay, let me give you a rundown for anyone listening right now. Ralph decided to have a debate with someone named Vosh. It's either Vosh. I always called him Vosh, but I guess it's like Vosh or whatever. Anyways. Vosh is like this big fat dumpy communist sack of shit. Boring. What's the word? Insipid. Just your run-of-the-mill rich Beverly Hills kid who thinks that communism is the way to go, doesn't believe in racism because he's never met black people in his life. That kind of guy. Just totally, wholly insignificant. Someone from BreadTube. And hold up. I have an emergency. I have a gamer emergency that I have to do right fucking now. And then I will continue my story. I apologize. I'm not doing a very good job of being an entertainer tonight because I am distracted. I have adult worries in the back of my head that I have to deal with. Hopefully that fucking works. Okay, debates this guy, and if you listen to him, he kind of got Vosh at some point and then lost it. I don't know. I didn't listen to the debate because debates are fucking boring. Unless it's Destiny chimping out at someone, I have no interest in hearing it. But then afterwards, at a certain point, I think he gets wasted, like noticeably fucked up on something. And he's talking to the guy, and he's like, "Yeah, you know what? I'll fucking dox you, and I'll dox your girlfriend and shit." And I think he drops the gamer word. I think he calls. I can't personally say this gamer word. I'm trying to. Let me think of a good. What's the word? An allegory. He called him a low information voter and a member of the LGBTIP And this combination of completely non-derogatory phrases set off Vosh, and well, not really set him off, but made him go like, "Oh shit, I can't believe you said that. What an idiot! Don't you know that the internet is basically censored at this point, and you can't call someone a low information LGBTIQP plus without serious repercussions." And I think they kick him off at that point because, you know, he said the gamer words. There's two of them now, by the way. There's the gamer word, then there's the other gamer word. But he said both. This is a terrible combination made in hell. And he gets kicked off the stream. Then he starts up his own stream. And I happen to have an archive of that. And I guess it's like an hour long. I don't know if I want to listen to all of it. What do you guys think? Do you think I should I think it's up on YouTube. I can probably listen to it time and a half. But I know that a lot of people listen to my streams on time and a half. Press 1 if you want me to sit here for like an hour and try to listen to this all, or press, I guess I'll scan it. You know what? You don't get to vote. You can press whatever the fuck you want. I'll listen to it until I get bored. I didn't feature it for some reason. I guess because people don't care. Let's see. Hopefully my internet is going to be able to handle me. You know what? I'm an idiot. I have this saved to my fucking computer. I don't need to do anything. Where are you? Aha! Aha! Okay. This is courtesy of... I actually want to... What's the name of this guy who restreamed it? Because I do want to give him credit. This is the only copy of this I could find.
One of these faggots.
Full Blast 2. Thank you, Full Blast 2, for archiving this. Alright. Let's just go. Crank this. Let me change my audio settings real quick so I can talk over it.
Every one of these faggots. I don't give a fuck. Who are they talking to? Did they even know who I am? Like, I don't know. Honestly, it kind of just baffles my mind.
Like, right off the bat. Okay, number one, we can pick up a few things about this just listening to it. Number one, he's completely fucked up. Number two, do you even know who I am? Which, if you say that and honest to people, the answer will be like a smug chuckle, like, no. Can you imagine me trying to say that to someone like, do you know who I am, sir? I run the Kiwi Farms. It gets several million views a month. How can you treat me this way? It's clearly intolerable. It's also a direct quote from Sargon of Akkad. Do you know who I fucking am?
Do they know who I am? Like, I don't give a fuck about you, your life. I don't give a fuck about my life. And so you're sitting here talking like, yeah, guess what? You showed your fat fucking cow, buffet buster bitch. Yeah, she's fair game. Guess what? You made it that way. It wasn't me. I didn't make it that way. That's just the rule of the jungle. And you signed up for the jungle. And so
fair game, more like wild game. Am I right?
Well, it's just like you.
Here's the other thing I can't get over is when you're listening to this, there's like two people, I don't know who the fuck they are, that are talking to him, but it's like at some point someone should be like, yo, this is kind of fucking ridiculous, my man. Maybe that's why I am a less interesting person, I guess, because my first instinct is like, I don't know, if someone's acting preposterous, you want to say, hey, maybe this is a bad idea, but that's just me. There's a certain point, I'm hoping it's not too far into this, because if I get a couple minutes in and I have to start and I don't hear it, I'll start scanning for it, because there's a certain event. I've listened to this entire thing. There's a certain event that changes the attitude of the broadcast.
Dingo, if somebody docks you tomorrow, I would say, you know what? I don't like to see that, but it is what it is, right? You called into the show and you put yourself on the line, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to put you in a spot that you disagree, but that's actually my philosophy. Like, you're in it or you're out. And so I don't give a fuck about that fat cow. That's my...
Yeah,
I
the thing
agree
is,
with
like,
that.
there's been people who dox people like Rand and myself, and then like those
Sure.
people will say, look, I've got a family, I've got a wife, and you know what they tell those people? They say, oh yeah, well your wife shouldn't have married a fucking Nazi, I'm doxing. So fuck them.
See, everyone over time has slowly adopted my position on doxing. There's literally nothing wrong with it. I tried to tell people, I tried to warn them. There's literally nothing wrong with doxing. And over time, they've learned to accept this fact. Because they all looked at it and thought, I would hate for this to happen to me. But then it's happened to them, and they realized that it didn't impact their life significantly. And now all of them have adopted the universal truth that there is literally nothing wrong with doxing.
Somebody says you threatened. Somebody says you threatened to dox his girlfriend. I don't give a fuck. I'll dox her. I don't give a fuck. Stop watching. I don't care if that makes you angry. Yeah, I will. I don't give a fuck. I've doxed plenty of people on my website, and it doesn't bother me whatsoever. And if that bothers you, maybe you should eat a bullet, I guess would be my advice. So I don't know what to tell you. Like if that really bothers you, I don't know. Die in a ditch, I guess would be my advice.
Pretty annoying is how these people, they have this false sense of higher class. They really try to pretend to be really suave, and they try to pretend that they're
Let's skip ahead a bit. There's something I want to show.
They're the one.
Voucher's going to go and claim victory.
A personal responsible for my words. He's a complete. That's the thing. I don't know. We can sit here and debate.
And Flamenco's clipped this extensively and played it on his streams.
Where are you?
But you know what I mean? Like, I don't police that. And for you're fat. Well, guess what? I still.
You always judge.
Oh no, that's a good clip right there.
You're fat. Well, guess what? I still get plenty of pussy. Like I hate to brag, but that's never been an impediment for me. Maybe it's an impediment for you, but I get plenty of pussy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I know people in chat are gonna say JF this, JF that, and wow, Ralph's crazy and he's full of shit. I'm actually telling you the truth. I have no problems with female attention, and so it makes me laugh when I see it. Because I see it and then I say, this person obviously doesn't have the confidence in themselves that they should have. And that's the truth, right? Like,
well,
I don't know. If you want to talk to women.
You always judge a guy from how hot the girlfriend is, right? Am I right with that? Because
sure,
you see
I won't deny that. Yeah.
Okay, the statement there was you can always judge a guy by how hot their girlfriend is, and he says, "True, I won't deny that." Though I think I misheard it the first time. I heard him say quality of the girlfriend, which makes me wonder about the tweet he sent out calling Nora a cunt, because if he's calling Nora a cunt, then what is that? by that logic, what does that say about his choices? And I don't know. I don't want to be too mean to Nora, but a lot of people have made comments on how Nora looks, and I will refrain from such comments. But if he is saying how hot the girlfriend is, many people would derive alternative approximations from that particular sequence, I suppose.
Yeah, so, and you see the state of his, right? And what do you think of him? You know, it went how it went. It was really funny. I think everyone enjoyed it, to be honest.
Do you think
Actually,
that
I just
enjoys
here's a little bit
watching,
of staircase wit. So two of his things against you was that
He just streamed with Nora. I heard about that. I haven't looked at it, but I mean, no matter what, like even if she comes to defense for him, and I guess she would be a really kind person to do that, which is why I'm hesitant to insult her, because my favorite experience with Ralph has always been the stream I did with him during the Kavanaugh hearing before he got sworn in. It was like 7-8 hours long of hearing, and it was just me, because this is really early in the day that Zidane and Gator weren't available. But it was just me, him, and Nora. And I remember we had like 6,000 to 8,000 viewers watching the stream for 8 hours. And it was a very fun stream. So I'm hard pressed to say anything negative about her.
Class, you pour, and you drink.
Which, yeah.
What's
what?
the name of the show that
Guess
you were
what?
both on
All
again?
those things are true. Guess what?
He guess it's the Drunken Peasants, and he said, "Ralph, you're a drunken peasant."
Yeah, guess what? All those things are true. And this guy is a Beverly Hills socialist. And he's sitting here. Dude, look. I'm not going
Ralph,
to...
that's not fair. He said he lived in the poor part of Beverly Hills, okay?
Yeah, he literally,
I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
literally said that, by the way.
Surprised that
Ooh, about what in that area. And I grew up around these people. I grew up around people feel the need to versus these people.
I know it's easy.
but no, as soon as you push back, it was like
Defend what Rambot said. You know what?
Act with to be 100% on board with
they-
what I think. Turn on each other, like they'll
The fuckers. And this, because I don't.
the people who have been watching you all this time.
There's a good part that I'm waiting
We
for.
talk about sexual harassment.
ethical
Come on.
consumption of child pornography.
I have no problem with me. You get me taken down.
Oh,
and
here.
Latex, this sort of thing.
Literally nothing for you in this life. Like, there's nothing, period, for you.
Where is it?
But that being said, I should have signed off after
No, there's a God. Where is it? What's the time?
You know what? And I'm not trying to brag or be big, but you're my friend. You know what I mean? Like, why would I disavow somebody who's
okay, this is a
been
good part, too.
there with me at the lowest parts of my life? Like, fuck off. Like, fuck off. Who did you disavow? Like, no, fuck, eat a dick. Like, that's my position. And people can take it and they can leave it. I don't give a fuck. If that upsets you that much, don't watch the show. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, they don't understand what it's like to have any kind of person to talk to that's not going to just be stabbing them in the back all the time. They always want
not even
someone
that,
to disavow
like-
someone.
Yeah, I agree. But also, it's like, me and Rambot have had knockdown, drag out fights on this fucking show.
I think this is it.
About things that he said. And, I don't appreciate being called a Nazi and trying to be smeared. And that's not something that I'm about.
Where is it?
Because ultimately, it's Republicans are the Democrats. Like, that's acceptable opinion. Disavow.
Like, I just want to say that for the record. Like, I'm not. And I've had other people on the show who have no. You should be. And I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Report it, bitch. I don't.
Oh, this. Okay.
You should be hanging from a lamppost, to be quite honest with you. And I don't.
Apparently, he's
respect.
reporting your Patreon live.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Report it, bitch. I don't give a fuck.
I see the
Jake
4912.
Masterson,
I'll get to
new
that.
Patreon. Excuse me. Newproject2.com. I don't give a fuck.
This is when Vouch does start live reporting his media and stuff because of the N-word, F-word jargon. But where is the part where...
I'm live at the moment. Okay. That's it. Usually,
He said, well, Doc said, yeah, I will. I don't give a fuck.
About the idea of like, what if I doxed your?
He said to me, when it comes down to the nut cutting, you will know who your friends are. No, you're a fucking degenerate who should be on a cross. I'm not going to disavow Rambot. I'm not going to disavow you. I don't give a fuck. Fuck off. Never. Never. Now, do I agree with everything you... No, I won't do that. Now, some people, maybe they will. In a ditch, I guess.
another 12 hours into it.
Yeah, I was going to say, people don't necessarily understand, but I was a Hearts of Iron fan. They're good guys. You know what it is, though.
He's still drinking.
Sometimes you have to give
There's a part in this where you can literally hear him pouring something, and I wish I could pick up that part.
a review copy. I mean, it is what it is, right?
I really ought to get
Just,
around to writing those reviews.
That they took down the live stream.
Wait, mine or
Yeah, yours.
who did?
But if people don't refresh,
Who did?
then
Oh dear.
it's still active.
Yeah, streamer is
Guillotine.
offline.
That seems unlikely, but
Yeah, it's if they don't refresh, then it's still live, but it is actually offline.
Oh.
okay. So it does appear to be offline. To be honest,
If you do the stop and start streaming, then it'll stop it going to everyone.
so I'm looking on the chat. Some people say they can see it. Some people say they can't.
Yeah, some people can, but
They said it's still up
if
on
they
YouTube.
refresh, then it's gone.
I think it's still live.
Yeah, I literally can't tell you. Like I'm looking at the chat right now. So
There was apparently there was a mod in the chat.
What sucks is I must have skipped past it because I was skipping a minute at a time. There was a part where he literally says that DLive can't ban me because I made them and I can destroy them, and that was it was like he said maybe like a minute before it actually happened. He said that, and it was then he immediately got kicked off. I'll actually rewind because I do want to hear that part.
I don't know how good number one was. Like with it.
of Hearts of Iron. I'm sure they will. Whatever.
Oh no, is that names if they don't end up?
Yeah, I can't take that away from.
Yeah,
They're full of shit, but I can't.
let it off kick-ass torrents.
They're good guys. You have to get it.
They took down the live stream.
I bitched about it, but I don't care about them.
Do you want to know what I've been in the post?
I don't know. I'll skip ahead.
Ever accept this person's testimony? Like I don't know. I really have no idea.
Ralph,
What?
would you say he's the connoisseur of the horse cock?
Yeah, I would say that. I should take a breath. But dedicate every fucking moment.
Similar to threats I've made in the past.
Pretend it doesn't exist most of the
Your favorite topic.
Shut up. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, in America, we might
Shut
change
up.
the T
You
to
know the
D.
truth. Shut up. You know what you're saying. But
What's the matter, Ralph? You don't like titties?
no, I love titties, but I mean, let's be honest. Like that's.
Yeah, they go all right.
Go ahead, Rand.
No, it's just
You're
saying
the only
titties.
person
They
who
go
can-
all right.
You know what? I feel bad because I actually like, you know. I just want to go away. To be honest with you.
Well, shut her down and get
Do
some
you
sleep.
still have OBS?
Yeah, dude. I feel bad because I feel like I absolutely own Vouch. Just will not accept that. But there's nothing I can do about it, right? Like
A while he's had the hard on for him, but Destiny actually.
shit. I'm just trying to do a show, and I see this fucker.
Because you've got the best brownies and
not
barbecue
that.
sauce.
That's not that. It's really not that whatsoever. I will tell you why I would defend Rambot to the death.
This is a good part, I think.
And it's because he will defend me to the death. And I know he would, and I know he will. And so
I've had people get angry at me at the past for doing just that. So yeah,
they're so mad about that. You know what I mean? Like they're really angry about that.
yeah, I do occasionally get a DM from someone I don't follow on Twitter, and I open it up and yeah, fuck you, Rand. I'm like, okay, cool. I guess a Bitwaver just got a new Twitter account. I guess.
I will say this.
Sounds like a
The
grizzly
German
bear.
peasants are a bunch of lying faggots. If you want to subscribe to them, I don't care.
And that's good.
I could not do that. No,
You got.
it is what it is.
Where is?
But it makes me sick. Bad actor. Imagine part of this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, maybe a boomer technologically, but like it's hard to find somebody that jack who's not a complete and total retard up top. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, all of a sudden you're like, oh god. You can do something to me. Do it. Do it, fucker. I'm telling you right now. I'm pointing at my screen. I'm pushing it against the threshold here. If you think you're bad enough, do it. Do it. Do it. You're not.
Going all Shia LaBeouf, huh?
You're not. And guess what? I'll also be here tomorrow. But I would respect that more. Do it. You know what? Talking shit, do it. Like, do it. Like, what else is there to say, to be honest with you?
I don't think they've got the balls.
No, they don't. And nothing's going to happen. And, you know, I'll keep doing the show like we always do. But it's just so funny to me that a guy who literally come on the stream. I destroy this guy.
Time to
Oh fuck! This is the gator
to
part.
turn the keys off for right now, and I'm just saying, buddy. I think Vouch is a raging homosexual. That is without question. But I think it might be time to turn the keys off for right now, and let's think about the next step.
I don't disagree with that whatsoever, but yeah,
this is going to be his thing. He's going to say the 2.5 hours where he was getting the shit beaten out of him, even by the hosts of the Drunken Peasant, doesn't count for anything because Ralph got himself in trouble.
I will say this, and you know, it is what it is, but
It is what it is.
the Drunken Peasants are a complete piece of shit, and I will not discourage anybody from making that known. And so that's up to you. You can do what you want. They're pieces of shit, and I hope they die in a ditch. That would be my view. So,
And God bless America.
God damn bless America.
All right, let's try it. It only said 47.15. I'll check that. I thought it was 49.15.
May the Queen bless.
On foreign actors, and that doesn't bother me at all. So I'm just letting you know, D-Live, I will sink D-Live. I will make it my mission to destroy this website. And I'm not joking. I'm not kidding. I will absolutely destroy this website if it comes to it. And
It sounds remarkably similar to threats I've made in the past.
yeah, you know what? Yeah, it does, but I'm not kidding. Like, I agree with you. It does, but I just can't. Like,
I think that's it. I just wanted to scan through this live stream for posterity's sake because I don't know. I suppose I'm the only person in the entire world who's disappointed because it must be like a rationalization at this thing. Because I remember when I talked to him on that night with Dame Pesos, he kept saying like his best streams he was really blackout drunk. And I think when it comes to like justifying the drink, he says, "Well, you know, all my best streams I was drunk, so there's no problem. It's part of the job. I can justify the expenditure because it's part of the job." And I don't know. I'm sure there's like a word in like dependency science that they would have at like Alcoholics Anonymous. They say, well, that kind of thought is an enabling thought or something. I'm sure there's like a technical scientific language for it, but that I don't know. It does. I don't. It's sad. It's sad to see someone do that to themselves. I'm sure he doesn't appreciate my pity, but it is what it is. What do I expect? I don't know. It seemed like for a while he was doing okay, wasn't he? It must be the divorce. I really think that he's been impacted by the divorce more than he is going to allow himself to admit, and it will trigger within him certain behaviors that are destructive. Because he's he's like nearing 40, ain't he? It's tough to go through a divorce when you're like 40, when you don't have kids and stuff, because you have to, like, when you're in like a long-term relationship and you're planning to go maybe forever with someone, and you start allowing yourself to become complacent in that relationship, and then it's over. Well, then it's like, okay, well, now I'm several years older at the tail end of this relationship than when I entered into it. I am no better off than I was when I entered into it. I'm no more prepared for things than I was entering into it. And now I have to start all over again. And the cycle of relationships is so exhausting. You know, the meeting someone, and then the first few weeks, and the trouble when you first move in together, and then the 6-month period and the 1-year period where you have certain hiccups you have to pave over, and it's so much personal investment and time, and getting to know someone and all the things that make them happy and all the things that they don't like, so you have to avoid, and changing your schedule and all that stuff to fit them, and then just losing it all and being like, well, fuck, I gotta do this all over again. And the longer it is, the harder it is to pick up after. You know what I mean? Ralph is 47? That can't be true. That's not true. 34. He's in his 30s. I don't think he's 47. 34. Okay, you don't fucking lie to me, Xanderthal. You motherfucker. You think you can get one past me? MGTOW was right again. I don't know. Relationships are complicated, especially these days. I can see why people want to be alone, but at the same time, here, I'll tell you guys my personal philosophy, because I'm a weirdo. I've always been a weirdo. I've usually been alone in my life. I've had a couple flings, I've had some interaction with the fair sex, but I've come to the realization as I've gotten older that I figured out the meaning of life. And if you guys would entertain me, here's my meaning of life. The whole reason that you exist, is extremely simple. I've thought about this for years and years. I believe at this point in time, the only reason you exist is to have babies. And a childless life is a totally meaningless life. Like, even with like Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla is a celebrity here, by the way. He's one of the most famous Serbian peoples. He's like an engineer, but he's like, he was childless. He never dated, he never married. Everyone thought he was gay, and he fell in love with a pigeon. Like, that's the story of Nikola Tesla. And even someone as famous and as influential in electric engineering and stuff, like, he's dead, and he didn't further his genetics in his time on Earth. And I guess maybe you could theoretically posit that his intelligence is, his contributions to science are his offspring, his legacy. But I don't hold that, because the thing about science is that it's true, and it's always true. And if something isn't discovered by a certain person, if you killed Nikola Tesla before he discovered what he did, for instance, it would be discovered later by someone else, because what he found is a truth. It's a natural law. It's a thing that always will exist. And if it gets discovered a little bit later, then at worst, it just set back humanity a little bit. So I think nobody could argue, even following that logic, that Nikola Tesla having children would be, or having children would be better than him not having kids. Because the same with Einstein. I think Einstein did have children, but it's better to be smart and successful and have kids than to have no kids at all. And I would say it's better to have kids and not be a success than to not have kids at all. At least in terms of the selfish concept of why you're here. If you don't have kids and you die, you will be forgotten, and you're a dead end. Because you're not the product of good people. You're not the product of the smartest people to ever exist. You're just the product of people that could make it. You know what I mean? You're the product of the good enough. And I think people who get so caught up in their own imagination and their own work and their sciences and studies, and who put everything, including family and relationships and children, behind those things, they're not fit enough. They couldn't balance the things in their life that they need. That's why the most intelligent people often also seem to be the most depressed, because they don't have a balance of things in their life. And if you can't, like, it's such a primal thing, it's such an instinct that everyone has. If you can't do that, you really weren't good enough to be carried on. You deserve to be extinguished from the tree of life. So if you want to know what I think the meaning of life is, it's children, and that's it. Literally nothing else. Maybe I could be considered like an egoist. I need to read Max Stirner's book. I've been meaning to. I've read through like the first few pages of the ego in its own. But the really annoying thing about philosophy books is that they're all written in such a way that they address other philosophers. Like, they're written for philosophers, and they're not a good read. They're really pretentious, because the first half of the book is just like, and this philosopher said this, and I think that's wrong because of this, and then other philosopher said this, which was held to be true by this philosopher, but they're both wrong because what about this? And it's absolutely grating to fucking read through, but I've been trying very hard to get through it. There's actually I did read this here. I'll share with you guys a book. That's how pretentious I am. I'm reading fucking books, and I'm going to show my live stream audience a fucking book. But I found this a choice quote, and I want to see how fast I can get banned from Twitch. So I'm going to read this. Give me a second. Where is it? Ha. Let's see. No, it has the index. Okay, there we go. Where are we? Okay, I'll just start with this, I guess. This paragraph. Can I show my Kindle on, Oh, I can. Does this work? Aha, I can indeed show my Kindle. Here, I'll just move this. Whoops. Story time. Not the spirit, then, which has to do with absolutely nothing unspiritual, with no thing, but only the essence which exists behind and above things, with thoughts. Not that did the ancients exert, for they did not have it. No, they had only reached the point of struggling and longing for it, and therefore sharpened it against their too powerful foe, the world of sense. But what would have been sensuous for them, since Jehovah or the gods of the heathen were yet far removed from the conception God is spirit, and therefore heavenly fatherland had not yet stepped into the place of sensuous? They sharpened against the world of their senses, their sense, their acuteness. To this day, the Jews, those precocious children of antiquity, have got no farther, and with all subtlety and strength of their prudence and understanding, which easily becomes master of things, and forces them to obey it, they cannot discover spirit, which takes no account whatsoever of things. The Christian had spiritual interest because he allows himself to be a spiritual man. The Jew does not understand these interests and their purity because he does not allow himself to assign no value to things. He does not arrive at pure spirituality. A spirituality is religiously expressed in the faith of Christians, which alone, without works, justifies. Their unspirituality sets Jews forever apart from Christians, for the spiritual man is incomprehensible to the unspiritual, as the unspiritual is contemptible to the spiritual. But the Jews have only the spirit of this world. I found that very interesting. This is Stirner. This is from Stirner belonged to a club of philosophers who basically defined all modern political thought in the 1900s. He was like alongside Karl Marx and the founding fathers of fascism and nationalism in the 1800s. They were literally a part of this German book club that talked about philosophy, and they ended up becoming extremely influential, except for Max Stirner, who became completely forgotten until like the mid to late 1900s and has recently resurfaced as like this meme of just looking out after yourself. And his argument so far in the book has always just been that focusing on spirituality is completely pointless. But then also in the way he writes, he compares a very devout Christian to a Jew, with the understanding that a Christian would be someone who only is concerned with the afterlife and piousness and adherence to God, and a Jew to someone who is completely superficial and obsessed with wealth. And he compares and contrasts the two, and other dimensions of where someone puts value in their life. And I think his thesis is just do what you want, because it literally doesn't matter. And I don't know. I've not finished it yet, but it's interesting to me, and I wish I could finish it. It was quite long. But I when I read that, I got a kick out of it, and I thought you guys would like it. He's completely wrong. We had a Stirner remote. We do have a... Oh, it's not a... In the Discord chat, it's not Stirner, it's Spook. Type in Spook, you get the emoji with the glasses and stuff. Christianity is based, I don't know, talk about a minority opinion. I find here, let's get since there's nothing else going on, and I'm just killing time to entertain people stuck in quarantine contemplating their own demise. I do think Christianity is shit, and I've at various times in my life wanted to become a more religious person, but I can't reconcile it. I've looked at, I've thought about it, and I just think that any branch of Christianity has just been a complete failure. It's just completely rancor with child sex abuse. I think the iconography of the Catholic Church is the most persuasive because it's very beautiful, and Christian architecture has remained basically the most interesting aspect of modern, what remains of it in Europe is the best thing to see. But it's just, I'm not compelled by it. I just think it's all bullshit, especially when you know the origins of the Bible. The Bible was written over hundreds of years and curated by the papacy and reorganized. And did you know that the original language of the Bible is Greek, because it was the Greeks that occupied Judea at the time that Christ happened? It's just like, I don't know. I don't find it. I mean, I wish it was true. It'd be nice to think about the big man watching over you, but I don't find it convincing. And now I've met people who are like fascist pagans who believe in the Nordic pantheon, who believe that I had someone, a very very interesting person that I was pretty fond of, told me, a fascist type, told me that he literally believed that, let me pull up the name of this so I can mispronounce it. Glioblastoma, the type of brain cancer that John McCain had. He told me, and he was completely sincere when he said that glioblastoma, the brain cancer that killed John McCain, was a avatar of Loki, and that Loki, because a couple big evil politicians like McCain had died to glioblastoma at that point, and he said that Loki was using glioblastoma to murder people who were betraying the white race, and that's a more fun interpretation. But I think the whole thing about like neo-paganism is that the Christian branches of religion are so pathetic, especially today, that if you want to be religious, you have to believe in something that is old, in which you could reform into something more interesting and appealing. Christianity is a life-denying slave ideology. There's slavery in the Bible. Romans weren't Greek, though. It wasn't Latin. What the fuck is Loki? he's a German guy. Glioblastoma is base, yes. The Vegas of religions, Buddhism. Maybe. But then again, Buddhism is interesting, and I've thought about that too. Because it's interesting to me, and I think I've incorporated, at least I maybe I have, that the whole idea that suffering is want is, from what I understand, the thesis of Buddhism. And I thought about that in my time. I thought about how every time I want something, I feel extremely punished for it. And not wanting stuff and just doing what entertains me and what is fun to me without true ambition behind it has been something that I've done. But then I think about, as I've gotten older, I've realized how important it is to be ambitious, to not be complacent in what you have, and to allow suffering. You have to suffer in life. If anything, suffering is healthy. You go your entire life avoiding suffering by forsaking any kind of ambition. You are a miserable and unproductive and completely forgettable human being. You have to want things. You have to be able to take suffering with stride, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Doomer Josh, barely better than Christian. Yeah. That's I'll be honest. I find Judaism to be an extremely interesting religion. Because if you don't know, the main thing about Judaism, modern Judaism, is that somehow this group of people, a group of desert nomads, a group of people from Judea that were scattered to the wind by the Emperor Hadrian, who took different parts of, who basically were like pets to the Europeans, because they couldn't borrow, they couldn't lend or borrow money with interest. So you had the court Jew who was able to borrow money with, or lend money with interest, and who's, because of the unique financial requirements of Christianity, ended up becoming extremely influential in European courts and became sometimes, in some instances, more powerful than the king himself, because they just had so much money, because they were lending all the time. And that's where, like, the whole thing that Jews have control of banking apparatuses, and maybe they still do to this day, right? But they are a group of people who, over hundreds of years of being rootless, of being evicted from over 190 countries, have managed to maintain their race. They have extremely distinct racial features, which I'm sure I don't need to say. They maintain their religion. They maintain the works of their religion. The whole reason why Jews are fantastic lawyers is because in order to become a man, you have to be able to read their holy books, right? And you have to be able to read it in their language, and their books are essentially just the case law of the Torah, because the Torah is very thin. But when the Judaic scholars read it and argued over if something should be allowed or not, these arguments became recorded and it's their entire religion is essentially a case law of the Torah, which is why it's so easy for them to switch and become fantastic lawyers, because it's literally the same fucking thing. It's like the religion is the law. So, but then because of how they transfer their identity matrilineally, which means the mother has to be Jewish for the children to be Jewish, there's an interest for Jewish men to covet Jewish women, and then you always know that children are Jewish because their mother was Jewish. Like, you know, you can always debate who a father is, but it's very hard to debate who a mother is because it comes out of them. And throughout this thousands of years, they maintain their everything about who they are, remain completely distinct, and elevated themselves to positions of power. So I believe that Stroner is completely correct in that assessment, because they have this idea of maintaining heritage and having children, and it's led them to avoid extinction when any other group of people would have been shattered and melted in. They've remained triumphant over it. Based? I didn't say they're based. I'm just saying that they have a working system that other people would be wise to adopt. The Bible was edited by the papacy. You had people, because many of the books of the New Testament were written hundreds of years after Christ died. They decided what books to keep. That's why the story of the woman created in God's image was removed, because they didn't believe in women being equal. So they took that book out. They reordered a couple. All the different books are hundreds of years apart from each other. That's why they contradict each other. They're different people at different times. Council of Nicaea, whatever. Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about how they said the Bible is the Word of God, the infallible Word of God, you should look at Islam, because the books of Islam were written by single people in their lifetime, and the whole Arabic language is about preserving the literal Word of God. The Bible is completely inferior to the various religious texts of Islam in terms of the purity of the script and the intent of the author. Do I spit on Christ? I don't think so. I try not to. Time for jihad. Here's my thing, okay? If the world goes to shit, if Islam takes over everything, I am converting to a body. I'm going to become an Abadi Muslim and go to Muscat in Oman and convert to a body there and be completely irrelevant, because Abadiism is like a strange sect of Islam that no one gets angry about because they don't purport their own caliph. They don't purport their own religious leader. So people leave them alone because they don't care. And Oman is kind of like the Portugal of the Islamic world, so you're pretty safe there. Nobody cares about Oman. Inshallah, exactly. Kebab farms? Perfect. Shia? No. I'm a body. Just pay the jizya? I'm not paying the jizya tax. I'm gonna convert to a body. Fuck that. Oh, well, I do. I do consider them all equal. Why is the righteous fury of Loki and glioblastoma any less ridiculous than Christianity or Islam or whatever? I don't know too much about Taoism or Confucianism, but look at the success of those cultures. Look at Shintoism and the success of Japan. How excellent Japan is. I've been to Japan. It's an extremely wonderful place to visit. Supposedly the culture is oppressive, but it's an entire. I mean, if you want fascism in Japan would be the best place to have it because it jives so well with their traditional values. You do not have to be a descendant of Muhammad to be a Shia. You have to be a descendant of Muhammad. I think they're called a Mizra to become a caliph. That's the major difference between Shia and Sunni. Sunni believes that anyone who is a Muslim can become the caliph, the religious leader. But Shias believe that you have to be a direct descendant of the Prophet Muhammad to become a caliph. Ibadi Islam is different and believes that when the next caliph comes, it will be obvious to all Muslims, and there won't be any disagreement about who it should be. So they have a different system where the religious leaders are more like Protestant preachers as opposed to a pope or a religious figurehead. I don't know. Josh playing too much CK2? Maybe just a little bit too much CK2. Whatever. I don't know. I'm just having fun. I can talk on my stream. If I want to. Yeah, I don't know. Has anything else happened that I can talk about? I talked about Young Love. I think that's it. It's already went on way too long for what it is. Just me shitting around. Big tangent hours. How do I become a home-owning boomer? You kill a boomer. It is like CK2. You have to kill a boomer to inherit their estate. Amy Ramadan, has she done anything? Josh, is this still just a flu? Yeah, pretty much. There's no conclusive. I was afraid that because of what I just said about carrying children, I was a little bit concerned about the infertility that Jim's been freaking about, and I looked at it. And supposedly the infertility that can be a symptom of the COVID virus only happens if you get inflammation as a result of the virus, and the inflammation is in your testicles. That can damage your fertility, but that doesn't seem to be a extremely prominent symptom of the virus. It just seems to be something that some people get. So, yeah, I keep thinking about it, and it's just like, because of the rise or the decrease of tourism in Venice, the waters in the Venetian canals are beautiful. All the boomers are going to die. People are realizing that they can do their jobs from home. The stock market is returning to where it should be. When everyone dies, there's going to be a shortage of labor and skilled positions. There's going to be new people who have to take over in college campuses. George Soros, if he gets it, he's fucking dead. He's like 90-something. Who else? Lindsey Graham probably going to die. Trump's going to die. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is the one I definitely hope gets it because she needs to fucking die. All these people who suck, who are holding us back forever, who never seem to die because they have access to the best medical care that's ever been present on planet Earth, can all die and leave us alone. And if that happens, that would be fucking fantastic. I can't pretend to cry over this. I can't pretend to cry over how bad my personal situation is, because I know that if this happens and it's a total pandemic, if it's total global saturation and everyone gets it, we will wake up one day in late 2020 to a country that is better off than it ever was since the 1950s, maybe, because there will be nothing probably not there. There probably might be violence at that point, because if there's a huge ideological difference between, here's the real downside about this. If everyone over 56 and a half dies overnight, the U.S. is a minority white country. I think that the population of Hispanics would overtake the population of whites just because they're all so young. So you would probably really start to see the cracks of a diverse society if the old white people died. Especially since so many of them hold government positions and positions in corporations in non-government organizations and stuff. There would be a huge power vacuum, and you would start to see a lot of people fighting over it, and you would start to see a large diversity in Congress, and those people would pass radical reforms that would disadvantage white people and would start causing problems. Blacks aren't dying from it. Oh yeah, that's something that I could talk about. I think everyone's asleep by now, but if you want to talk about the debate was amazing. We watched it live in the chat room, and it was so amazing because, and I tweeted this out. Bernie Sanders was awful. It was awful. The Bernie Sanders performance in the debate was just fucking terrible. He got completely destroyed by Joe Biden. And in the debate, and I kept remembering when the election happened, when Super Tuesday happened, and they were talking about delaying the debate because of the coronavirus. Everyone was freaking out, like, they're trying to stop this debate. Because if Bernie Sanders gets up in front of the United States and he has a debate with Joe Biden, cognitive decline Joe, he'll get destroyed. Joe Biden will be utterly obliterated by the suave, tactical coolness of Bernie Sanders. And then it happens. They allow it to go through, and Bernie Sanders is completely incapable of coming on top of Joe Biden on anything. He's how do I summed this up on Twitter. I said that the reason why Bernie Sanders was doing so bad was for the same reason people were afraid that Trump would do bad against Hillary Clinton in 2016. The whole thing with Trump going against Clinton in the debates was that Hillary Clinton is a professional politician, and she knows how to handle herself in front of a camera. And Trump is really good at rallying his base. So when he goes up in front of Clinton, all he has to do is not look bad. He just has to not say something fucking retarded on the stage. He just has to keep cool and has to keep Clinton on the defensive. And he has to be able to talk in a way that is persuasive to people who are not his base. He has to show Americans who are in the middle that, yeah, actually a vote for Trump would be a vote that they would benefit from, as opposed to voting for status quo. That was it. Don't look like a retard and talk to people more than your own base. And Trump obviously did that because he won. When Bernie Sanders was going up against Biden, he was never talking as if he wasn't in front of a rally of 10,000 20-year-old girls. He just kept talking about the millionaires and billionaires and the same fucking shit we've been hearing for 8 fucking years at this point from the motherfucker. And I never saw it as something that my grandmother, who is a lifelong Democrat, who voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016, would say and go, yeah, you know what? We actually do need Bernie Sanders over Joe Biden. He never held that point. And on the contrary, Biden was someone who needed to look like he was still very put together and very intelligent. And his performance in the debate was stellar. He had, the best thing about him was that he never had a lapse of memory. He never looked like he didn't know what was happening. Anytime Sanders brought something up, Bernie Sanders could or Joe Biden could point to a specific law and say, you know, I voted for this, and when Obama and I were working on this, we felt this way. He was very, very articulate compared to Bernie Sanders, who completely floundered and was unable to pin Biden on anything. So I fully believe that Bernie Sanders will drop out soon and just yield the nomination to Joe Biden. JoeBiden.com. That's the best part. Hopefully that rant makes sense. Yeah, he's not convincing anyone. He completely failed. I said this before during a stream and people got mad at me. I said I felt bad for his supporters, and people said don't feel bad for them. They're communists, and they've been mean to us, and yada yada. I think that a lot of those people were very young and very idealistic, and they thought that emulating a European style economy would be the way forward. And now they're faced with the harsh reality that not only is their candidate going to win a second time, but this time it's going to be extremely obvious that he lost on his own, and he didn't get swindled like he did with Clinton. He did get fucked by Clinton, but he did not get fucked this time around. And more specifically, that black people and Latinos don't fucking like them. They hate Bernie Sanders. They hate Bernie Sanders supporters, and they don't give a fuck about them. So all these people are going to feel extremely disenfranchised by the system. They're going to feel like their vote doesn't matter, their opinions don't matter, and there's nothing they can do within the system to fix it. So I expect that these people who are idealists are going to become either right-leaning, more Trump style, or they're going to go further left and they're going to become politically violent too. And I do see this as like a catalyst, because I see the signs of people not being able to get representation. Nobody feels like the government has their interest anymore, and fewer people are being complacent. And if there is a catastrophic loss of life in the older population of the United States, there's going to be more room for younger people to do change by violence. What about the TikTok girl? Fuck them. I hate all the people. I hate thoughts. I hate thoughts because they're like a pacifier for grown men. I think that a lot of people who are simpletons can go online and find a young woman that's attractive to them, and they will patronize this young woman because they want, deep down inside, they think they have a chance. I know that's not like an original opinion, but I do find it a particularly disgusting and exploitative taking advantage of like lonely and mentally handicapped people. Because if you're that desperate for pussy, you're like a retard, and you probably got like an 80 IQ, and you just because your sex drive is like the last thing to go. So you have like all these fucking brainlets who are just horny, and they see the screen and they see the pretty girl and their penis gets hard, and they're like, oh yeah, I should give her money for being good. And that's it, and they'll just keep doing it forever, and they'll never try to find anything in real life. You get what you fucking deserve. It's home? No, not really. Blood flow to penis means less blood for brain. Exactly. Your brain is all winkly and ugly and makes the big thanks, and the thanks hurts, makes sads. My brain is smooth, shiny. There's no tanking and there's no sads. So my brain is better. That's right, chat. Animal Crossing and Doom comes out on Friday. That's right. I don't have a Switch, but I liked Animal Crossing as a kid a lot. That's right, my brain is aerodynamic. All right. I think we're nearing 2 hours, or 1.5. I should wrap it up at this point. I want to be dragging on. Is there a video I can play or something? I feel like I should play a video. What do you guys think? Shanny for Christ hasn't done anything interesting. Oh, here's an idea that I want to pitch to everyone. Boogie 2988 was on a show called Painkiller Already, and it was very poorly received on PKA. But someone said I should ask to talk to them. I've never talked to PKA, but it is an interesting idea because I know of them. I'm debating it. I'm leaning no right now because it seems like a pain in the ass. Do it. Oh my god, I'm seeing duets. Do it. Is Barb still alive? Is there anyone who would object to doing PKA? Is there any reason not to? Do it at any cost. Oh my god. Call them now. Do a show with them. Do I think there will be more shootings? Yeah, probably. Specifically at rallies. Like on riots and stuff. Metacrow was on it. I know that Metacrow was on it and Dick was on it. Okay. Fine, I'll do it. We'll contact them at some point. I'll have to do it before the world ends. Let's see. I don't know. I don't think there is anything else to play. I've exhausted my options. Yeah, I wanted to go to Maddox's funeral too, but I'm fucked. I can't do it. Drink the cancer. Alright, now I'm gonna call it quits there before I drag on too long. Let's see. I need an outro song now. Fuck it. Alright, I'll see you guys when I see you, probably on Friday.
Please, your dusty mood don't vibe with me. You are old and so therefore I must say 10 for dinosaur. Hey, okay, boomer. Whatever you say, boomer. Okay, boomer. Whatever you say, boomer. Okay, boomer. Whatever you say, boomer. Okay, boomer. Okie dokie, boomer.